Good morning. I'm Ms. Lee, and we're at the Wellesley Free Library with another summer story time. Let's start with our gathering song. The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. Oh, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. I have a question for you. Do you think pigs are clean or dirty? Well, I learned not long ago that there's one way that pigs are very clean. So when the piglets are very small, their mother, the sow, will teach them to go far away from where they live and eat and play to do their bathroom business. And when they're finished, they will come back and be in a clean area. Now I know there's an expression that says, happy as a pig in mud. Well, pigs love mud. And there are two reasons why they love mud. The first one is to cool down. Pigs don't have sweat glands. They can't perspire like we do. So they have to slip into a muddy puddle of water and roll around and get covered with mud, and then they can stay there a while until their body temperature drops, and then they can climb out. The second reason is because, like we do, pigs get sunburned. They're one of the few mammals other than us that gets sunburned. So they need to have a sunscreen, and that mud is a sunscreen. When it dries and is caked on their bodies, then they won't get a sunburn. So there's a story about Abraham Lincoln and a little pig. When he was 6 years old, about 200 years ago, he was given a little piglet by a farmer who lived next door. Well, it was the next acres, actually. He lived in a homestead with his mother and father and sisters and brothers. And so he loved this little pig. He would play with it. He would stay with it all day long. The piglet would stay with him all day long. He would teach it tricks. He found out that pigs are almost, if not more, trainable than dogs are. So one of the things he taught this little piglet was to play hide and seek. And they would play hide and seek. He would carry the piglet. When the pig got big, he would ride on the pig and the pig would carry him. But when he was older, he remembered very fondly the times when they would play hide and seek, and he could just see the little face of that piglet peeking around the corner of the log cabin, wondering if he was going to run after it. Now, when Abraham Lincoln was much older, he became a lawyer, and one day he was riding with a friend in a carriage, and he had on a brand new black suit because he was going to be speaking at a place down the road. So they were driving along, and they came to a rickety bridge, and before they went up on the bridge, both his friend and he could hear a squeal because there was a mother pig who was very worried about her two little piglets who had fallen into a mud hole. Now, a mud hole is almost like quicksand. The more you struggle to get out, the harder it is to get out because it just makes you stick in the mud. So Abraham Lincoln said, "Please stop the carriage." He jumped out, went around to the swampy place where the pig was, and he waded in, and he eased the pigs under their tummies so that he could pull them out. And he finally got them on the shore where it was dry ground, and then they all splattered him with mud out of gratitude. Anyway, he went back to the carriage, and his friend said, My, that was a generous and selfless thing that you did. And Abraham Lincoln said, well, it was also pretty selfish because I would have worried all day long about those little pigs stuck in the mud if I hadn't gone to rescue them. And I think he was also remembering his little piglet. Here's a song about mud. It goes like this. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I've gotta go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud. Let's try to put some motions to our mud song. We'll do it slowly at first. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I've gotta go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud. Let's do it one more time, a little faster. If I get lost, you carry on. Mud, mud, I love mud. I'm absolutely positively wild about mud. I can't go around it, I've gotta go through it. Beautiful, fabulous, super duper mud.
Mud Puddle by Robert Munch, illustrated by Dusan Petrizik. Julan's mother bought her clean new clothes. Julan put on a clean new shirt and buttoned it up the front. She put on clean new pants and buttoned them up the front. Then she walked outside and sat down under the apple tree. Unfortunately, hiding up in the apple tree, there was a mud puddle. It saw Julan sitting there, and it jumped right on her head. She got completely all over muddy. Even her ears were full of mud. Julan ran inside, yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me!" Her mother picked her up, took off all her clothes, and dropped her into a tub of water. She scrubbed Julan till she was red all over. She washed out her ears. She washed out her eyes. She even washed out her mouth. Julan put on a clean new shirt and buttoned it up the front. She put on clean new pants and buttoned them up the front. Then she looked out the back door. She couldn't see a mud puddle anywhere, so she walked outside and sat down in her sandbox. The sandbox was next to the house, and hiding up on top of the house there was a mud puddle. It saw Julan sitting down there, and it jumped right on her head. She got completely all over muddy. Even her nose was full of mud. Julan ran outside yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me!" Julan's mother picked her up, took off all her clothes, and dropped her into a tub of water. She scrubbed Julan till she was red all over. She washed out her ears. She washed out her eyes. She washed out her mouth. She even washed out her nose. Julan put on a clean new shirt and buttoned it up the front. Then she put on clean new pants and buttoned them up the front. Then she had an idea. She reached way back into the closet and got a big yellow raincoat. She put it on and walked outside. There was no mud puddle anywhere, so she yelled, "Hey, mud puddle!" Nothing happened. So she yelled even louder, "Hey, mud puddle!" Julan was standing in the sunshine in her raincoat, getting very hot. She pulled back her hood. Nothing happened. She took off her raincoat. As soon as she took off her coat, out from behind the doghouse there came the mud puddle. It ran across the grass and jumped right on Jewel Ann's head. She got completely all over muddy. Jewel Ann ran inside, yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me." Her mother picked her up, took off all her clothes, and dropped her into a tub full of water. She scrubbed Jewel Ann till she was red all over. She washed out her ears, she washed out her eyes, she washed out her mouth, she washed out her nose. She even washed out her belly button. Julan put on a clean new shirt and buttoned it up the front. She put on clean new pants and buttoned them up the front. Then she sat by the back door because she was afraid to go outside. Then she had an idea. She reached up to the sink and took a bar of smelly yellow soap. She gave it a smell. Yuck! She took another bar of smelly yellow soap and gave it a smell. Yuck! She put the smelly yellow soap in her pockets. Then she ran out into the middle of the backyard and yelled, "Hey, mud puddle!" The mud puddle jumped over the fence and ran right toward her. Julan threw a bar of soap right into the mud puddle's middle. The mud puddle stopped. Julan threw the other bar of soap right into the mud puddle. The mud puddle said, "Ah! Yuck! Bleh." It ran across the grass, jumped over the fence, and never came back.
Here's a riddle for you. What do you call a fairy who never takes a bath? Ooh, Stinkerbell. Now here's another song about mud. It goes like this. Oh, I wish I was a little glob of mud. Oh, I wish I was a little glob of mud. I'd go ooey, ooey, gooey over everybody's shoey. Oh, I wish I was a little glob of mud. Why don't you try it with me, okay? Oh, I wish I was a little glob of mud. Oh, I wish I was a little glob of mud. I'd go ooey, ooey, gooey over everybody's shoey. Oh, I wish I was a little glob of mud. And one more riddle. Why do Dalmatians, spotted Dalmatian dogs, not like to take baths? Well, because they don't want to be spotless.
Splish Splash, Animal Baths by April Pulley Thayer. Squirt, an elephant sprays water over its back. Squirt, baby will get a shower too. Pigs take their baths in thick brown mud. They soak, slog, snort, and seem to smile. Mud cools their skin, and best of all, it gets rid of itches as well. Birds take baths in puddles or shower under sprinklers or waterfalls. Once clean, they preen, smoothing, fluffing, and straightening their feathers. That's like hair brushing for you. Ducks do extra work. They spread oil on their feathers. This special oil waterproofs them, and without it, ducks would get soggy and cold, which would not be ducky at all. Horses take baths, but not the bathtub kind. They take baths in dust instead. Roll, roll, rolling in dirt scrubs off sweat and insects. And then shake. The dirt really flies. Bears have long fur that gets itchy and full of insects too. To scratch itches, a bear rubs against a tree. Bears also take dust baths. They roll in dirt or they swim and splash in a wide, cool stream. Even the king of beasts can get beastly dirty. So lions do what house cats do. They lick their long fur clean. But even a lion's tongue can't reach the back of its head, so it licks a paw and rubs it over its head and ears. A comb might come in handy for cleaning a chimpanzee's fur, but chimps don't have combs, so fingers work fine. Chimps bite and pull bugs and leaves from their families' and friends' fur. What are good buddies for? Oxpeckers, a type of bird, spend their time hanging around. Where? On the bodies of giraffes. Giraffes don't seem to mind. Oxpeckers peck away ticks. They get a meal, and the giraffe gets clean. Hippos have helpers too, but these helpers are underwater in the rivers and ponds where hippos wade. Fish nibble algae off a hippo's skin. Does it tickle the hippo? Only hippos know. Fish don't take baths, they live in water, but some do try to stay clean. Big fish wait in line, but for a cleaner fish. Nibble, nibble, the cleaner fish bites tiny pests off the big fish's scales. The big fish gets clean, the cleaner fish gets a meal. Now that's an amazing deal. Nearby, a shrimp crawls into a moray eel's mouth. It's a cleaner shrimp, an animal dentist. It picks and eats food off the moray's teeth. Instead of being a shrimp dinner, it's dinner time for this shrimp. Now that you've heard about animal baths and animal dentists and how animals splish, splash, peck, and preen, it's time to take your bath. Splish and splash. And think of the animals. They too are getting clean.
What cleans but doesn't get dirty? Well, the official answer is a bar of soap. But you know, in my experience, when my hands are really dirty from being in the garden in the dirt and I come in, or when my hands have markers and paint all over them and I take a bar of soap and I wash my hands, the soap is pretty dirty too until I've rinsed everything off. So I'm not so sure about that one. Here's another song. Oh, I wish I was a little bar of soap, bar of soap. Oh, I wish I was a little bar of soap, bar of soap. I'd go slippy, slippy, slidey over everybody's hidey. Oh, I wish I was a little bar of soap, bar of soap. Want to try it? Oh, I wish I was a little bar of soap, bar of soap. Oh, I wish I was a little bar of soap, bar of soap. I'd go slippy, slippy, slidey over everybody's hidey. Oh, I wish I was a little bar of soap, bar of soap. One more riddle. What do you call a duck that steals the soap from the bathtub? A robber ducky.
The Amazing Adventures of Bathman by Andrew Peltier, illustrated by Peter Elwell. It's a quiet Saturday evening around the house, or so it appears. Up in the bathroom, there's a tub full of trouble. Help! Help! A faint, blubbery cry echoes down the pipes. Who will save me? Help! 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 Thundering footsteps shake the hall. Is it a rhinoceros? A fearsome giant? No, it's Bathman. Pinch your noses, cries Bathman. I'm coming in. Off flies his shirt. Away go his pants and underwear. Cowabunga, he shouts, kersplash. Hiya, Bubbles, says Bathman, as a tidal wave floods the bathroom floor. What seems to be the trouble? There's been a kidnapping, she cries. Kidnapping, eh? Replies Bathman. Describe the victim. She's rubber, says Bubbles. And yellow, adds Toots. And quacks a lot, chimes in Senor Sham. Ducky, that bird brain can never stay out of trouble, says Bathman. There's only one guy nasty enough to carry out this caper, Captain Squeegee. Arr! Captain Squeegee? Bubbles, Toots, and Sham shout in fright. He's the terror of the tub. Have no fear. Bathman is here. Bathman puts on his super-duper submarine snorkel and his special glow-in-the-dark goggles. Wish me luck, Toots, he says. I'm going down. Have you seen Captain Squeegee? He asks some passing sharks. We ain't tellin', they snarl. Sharks are always like that. Next, he questions Blob the sponge. Blob soaks up lots of news, but Bathman can't squeeze a word out of him. And he knows better than to ask Big Moll. She always clams up tight. Psst, he hears. It's the sneaky Miss Pollywog. She knows everything that's happening around the tub. Check down by the drain, she whispers. The drain, replies Bathman. I should have known, as if that duck wasn't dizzy enough. Thanks, Polly. Don't tell anyone I told you, she replies. Silent as the deep, swift as a stingray, the world-famous superhero slices through the suds. Friend to clean living creatures everywhere, defender of the great unwashed, Bathman is on the job. Sure enough, Bathman sees the dippy duck dangling over the drain as Captain Squeegee laughs his fiendish laugh. Help! Caught you wet-handed, cries Bathman. Drop that duck. Captain Squeegee drops the duck and launches a surprise splash attack. Splat! You'll have to do better than that, my friend, sneers Bathman. He unleashes his special tattoo torpedoes. The battle ebbs and flows. But in the end, Squeegee is no match for Bathman's superior skills. Sorry, Squeegee, you're all dried up, cries Bathman. I'm pulling the plug on you, my friend. Oh, Bathman, how can I ever thank you? Quacks the victim. Don't mention it, Ducky, he replies. Next time, watch your tail feathers. To celebrate, they all have a great big bubble blast. But soon Bathman hears the voice of Winsome, his trusted assistant. Dinner is served, sir. Hot dog, yells Bathman. He hops out of the tub and Winsome wraps him in his monogrammed towel. See you next time, gang, calls Bathman. Keep your noses clean.
I have 3 books that we didn't have time to read, but I'd like for you to know about. The one is The Pigeon Needs a Bath by Willems. Well, on the back of this book, here's the pigeon saying what the pigeon would say. Who has time for taking a bath with so many great books to read? I think you will like that one. This is an oldie but a goodie, Harry the Dirty Dog. Now Harry was a white dog with black spots, but he didn't like to take a bath, so he ran away from home and he played in the dirt and in the coal bin and all of those places, and he got so dirty he became a black dog with white spots. So he got lonely and hungry and wanted to go back home, but when he got back home, well, you'll have to read the book to find out what happened, what his family saw and didn't see. Jean Zion wrote this one. And finally, This is Click, Clack, Surprise. Now, it was written by Doreen Cronin and Betsy Lewin. They've written a lot of these Click, Clack books. This one is really funny. It's about a little duck who was celebrating her very first birthday, but she didn't know how to get ready for a birthday. So she watched all of the other animals on the farm, and some of them took a bath, and some of them clipped their hair or their fur, and so she was doing what all they did. So when it came time for her birthday party, well, she was ready, but they weren't ready for her. Check this one out. Now, let's do our goodbye song. See you later, alligator, in a while, crocodile. Give a hug, ladybug, blow a kiss, jellyfish. See you soon, big baboon, out the door, dinosaur. Take care, polar bear, wave goodbye, butterfly. Now, until we meet again, I want you to keep your noses clean. And don't forget to remember to put sunscreen on your body before you go out in the sun. Take care.